Diana Denmark here. It is Friday, hooray, the best day of the week. We made it through the week. I've had a tough week with the blast, but things are getting brighter every day. I'm checking with you briefly today. Let me just get the timer started. Okay, we are off and running. It's Friday, which in Flylady land, as I like to call it, is clean out your handbag, fill up your car with petrol, and date night. And the Flylady habit of the month for February is, decluttering. So I thought I would go ahead and show you. I'm not just telling you what to do. I'm doing it with you and I'm showing you. And I've also got a wee funny story because we've been talking about my granny this week, and there's a funny story to do with my granny and her handbag. So remember, with the Flylady Daily Focus, you don't need to do this on a Friday. It works really well for me, I think, because Friday is the end of the week. It's a chance to get cleared up, in your head and in your handbag. So we're kind of starting fresh, Monday morning. So when you hear this thing about, clean out your purse, it's not just clean out your purse. When my kids come home on a Friday afternoon from school and from high school, they clean out their rucksacks, their backpacks. Any weird and wonderful bits of food that have been left in there, those come out. Packed lunch boxes, water bottles, course papers, broken pencils. They clear it out on a Friday, and then that way they don't need to have it, in their heads over the weekend, because nobody likes that kind of Sunday night feeling of having to get ready for school. So anyway, I'm just going to go through what I'm doing as usual. If you're wondering where I am today, I'm at our launch pad. Launch pad is just where you have things kind of set up. You can call it launch pad or a landing strip as well. When you come into the house, where you kind of go through your things, hang up your coat. Ours is in the hall. I don't know if you can see there. That's through to the kitchen, the kitchen, and right through the other way is the living room. Anyway, just let me close that because the birds are going to make noise. The birds are through that away. Yeah. Anyway, let's just get started. And if you are at home, feel free to join in with me. If you're at the office, maybe you can just spend a couple of minutes doing your handbag. And when I first started with Flylady, when I saw that thing, clean out your purse, in English, British English, a purse is, where you put your coins and your notes and your money and your cards. And I thought, I could do that. I wasn't thinking, I actually meant a handbag. So don't take things literally, and also don't just look at a thing of saying like your handbag. If you've got a baby stroller or a pram, go ahead on a Friday and fish out all the little raisins that get caught in there and the Cheerios. Been there, done that. Just take a few minutes. It won't take long, and when you just do it, for a couple of minutes on Friday, it doesn't kind of get nasty. So, and also, if you've got a changing bag, what do you call it, a diaper bag, swimming bag, a sports bag that you use once a week, just take a wee look through it, and that way things are never getting that bad. We're just doing a little bit at a time. Right. I know from Instagram that when you see my handbags, you always think my handbag is about sometimes as small as the insert that you put in your handbag. I mean, your handbag may be this size. I keep it small because I'm often on my bike, and I don't like to weigh myself down with stuff, and it just stops me from building up all the clutter that's in here. Right, so I basically swap between these two handbags depending on whether I'm wearing kind of black outfit or something with my beige boots. So let me check in the black one first, because this one is basically empty. And this I last used on Tuesday night. I was at a Simple Minds concert, and I've got the tickets in here. Let me see. I don't want to show you any personal information. There we are. Simple Minds. I had a great night. I have had a week of the blast, but it was a great night. Good to get out, even if you're not feeling it. And down in the basement I have my music memorabilia box. So I'm keeping those. always keep my concert tickets. And I've got a plastic bag in here, because I had a sandwich on the way to the concert. I made up a wee sandwich. Right, okay, so that can go back into the kitchen and be used again. Okay, and basically there's nothing else in there. Woohoo! I'm going to be using this bag today because, you know, I'm wearing my black stuff. Right, okay, and this is one that I've been using the last couple of days. And in here I have my purse. And as I've told you before, in Denmark we don't use a lot of coins or a lot of cash. We use our cards even for tiny amounts, even for like 10 crowns. Let me see, is that €7? No, hold on, less than €7, like €2. £1, or like $1. You can use your cards for that, or we also have apps on our telephone. The kids can pay for things, you know, an ice cream in an ice cream kiosk using an app. So we don't carry cash. We're an almost cashless society, which is great. So I've got, this is mine, but I will take one thing out. I won't show you numbers or anything, but that's my K card. That goes back in the kitchen, that's where I keep those. But again, all the Danish stores are going over to apps, so that I always have my telephone with me, so if I'm shopping in Medses or Magasin, the department store, I don't need to have the card with me, I've got my telephone and they scan that. And also the receipts are kept there as well. Okay, so I'm taking my purse today. Or what do you call it? Wallet? Yeah. Oh, all this British American English, so confusing. Okay, I've got various receipts. I won't show you what they are, but I can tell you. It's IKEA, always IKEA. Elgiganten, which is an electronics shop. I was in there getting Hoover bags, you know, vacuum cleaner bags, and the bookshop. So all those go downstairs, and they go with the papers that I have in my office. I check those once a month. Right, a couple of snotty hankies, always got those. So those can go in the bin, paper recycling. And then I've got, you've seen this before, my little Swiss Army card, which has got a pair of scissors and a knife, a little tiny knife, and screwdriver heads. And I use this a lot. A wee pair of tweezers and a magnifying glass. So that's definitely going to Dee's bag. There we are, switch that over. My powder, because I always get a shiny nose. When I was at school, my nickname was Rudolph because I had a red nose. I always have a red nose. It doesn't matter if it's winter, summer, spring, I have a red nose. Luckily these days we have that green stuff that you can, you know, the concealer corrector stuff. Right, lip gloss, I put that in from a clothes swap. Oh, and my perfume, I won't take it with me today, that was also a clothes swap one. I really like this perfume, but I'll keep that here today. I'll put it over on that side. Right, and my headset, let me just check how much power is left on that, because I use this when I'm out and about, because then I can phone my mum in Edinburgh and we'll just have a wee chat while I'm walking along. 4 hours, okay. Even my mum doesn't speak for 4 hours. She's chatty like me. We're introvert, but we're very chatty, especially when we're nervous. Right, a comb, my Flylady pen, and lipstick, same colour as yesterday, you know, that kind of coral colour. So that's it. So this one is empty, and that goes back in the hall cupboard. Right, so that's that done. And then, as I said, you know, if you've got a sports bag, a gym bag, maybe you go to a craft class, you know, a knitting, you know, one of those stitch and bitch things or whatever they call them. You know, just go through and see what you've got. Oh, and I've also got 2 pairs of gloves here. When I'm cycling down to the sea, I need my thermal ones, and when I'm in town, I've just got my usual lamb's wool ones. I'll be taking those ones today because I'm going to be in the car, so those stay here. Right, now this is, you've seen this before, this is my swimming bag, and you know I love recycling and repurposing things. This was made by, there's a Centre for Handicapped Adults, And I bought this was this my gift 2 years ago, and it's made of recycled VHS tape. Can you see it? So it's kind of shiny. It's a great bag, this. It really goes with this one. Right, and my swimming, you know, I go skinny dipping all year round, so I have different bags depending on the season, but this is my winter bag. Now, today I'm swimming with Helena, and we'll be swimming and not going in the sauna, so I need my dressing gown, so that's a keeper. We won't be going in the sauna or anything, and this is my, you know, my TARDIS towel that I claimed from my DS18. He didn't want it anymore. That's going to go in the wash, because we're just in and out of the water and we dry off, and then on a Friday this goes into a towel wash, so that's it here. And this is I've got a little, this is a really, really old bath mat from IKEA. Can you see how old it is? And where there's not much heating in the changing rooms down there, and I can't stand having cold feet, so I stand on an old bath mat, but this one is beginning to lose the plastic bit. I can see it's. So you know what? This is going to be a declutter item for today. So that's going out in the recycling. And what I shall do is, let me see if I can just take one. Hold on, back in 2 ticks. I'll take one of these ones, which has kind of seen better days, from the kitchen, one of my wee kitchen hand towels, and that is enough for me to stand on. So that's going to be going in. Fluffy hat, I'll keep that because I'm swimming with Helena later today, and we are going down, down, down with the temperatures right now. And I know it sounds silly, but you know, we're skinny dipping, wearing nothing but maybe a woolly hat to keep our ears warm. Because it's going to be -7 degrees this weekend, which is like it's 25 something like that. Anyway, my flip-flops, keep those. I've got some Danish flags in here. That was from Helena's birthday. I'll put those away. It's Vipika's birthday in a couple of weeks, but I don't need to carry that right now. Right, and then I've got the rain bonnets. We'll take a photo of us wearing those next time. And then otherwise in here I have an extra shopping bag for if I'm doing my grocery shop on the way back from the sea, you know, and if I'm on my bike, I've got an extra bag. An asthma inhaler if it's really freezing in the morning. Sometimes I need an extra boost. And then otherwise I've just got some old Body Shop cream that my daughter didn't use, so you know, I lather that onto my feet. And also a wee brush that she had, so I can do my hair when I come out the sea. There we go. Right, anything else in here? My keys. Oh, and I tell you what, I've got a few fruit bars. And it's not my turn to take tea or snacks today, so those are going to go back into the kitchen. Right, so and the rest is just things like packets of hankies. Actually, I've got 2 packets of hankies in there. I'll put one in my handbag for today. You know me, my snotty hankies. Right, and the rest can go back in. And I have to tell you, we've been talking about my granny this week. And I was thinking about my granny and her handbag the other day, because when my granny and granddad, they loved to travel. I mean, we're talking about the 50s and 60s here, when not many people, you know, left to go out of Scotland, and they would often go to Belgium, you know, to Bruges or Zeebrugge, and and go down to Italy. My granny loved Italy. She started making her own pizza before it was kind of popular in Britain. And my granny, you know, was always kind of very well organised, and they were on the train. This is a story I've heard so many times from my mum and my uncle. They were going by train from from Edinburgh down to London, and then they would get the ferry over and go to Zeebrugge. And my uncle was just a baby at the time. My mum has got a wee brother, my uncle, and I mean now he's well into the 70s. And they were going down on the train, and my uncle wouldn't stop crying. He was just a baby in arms. And my granny's thinking, what is wrong with this child? She's fed him and she's burped him. And she thought, well, maybe he needs his nappy changed again. Anyway, she goes out to change him. And then she changes his nappy and realises that he's got a boiled sweet, one of these big boilings we used to call them. A boiled sweet stuck to his bottom. It's because when she had changed him the time before, she had just, had her bag with her on the train and used from her handbag a hanky. And what she hadn't realised is that the hanky had a boiled sweet stuck in it, and the boiled sweet was stuck to my uncle's bahookie. So that's what was causing him pain, the poor wee lamb. So anyway, that's just one of these family stories about, be careful what you've got in your handbag and when you're changing babies, and watching out for getting boiled sweets in your bahookies. Anyway, I have gone through my bag for the day. Woo, it's Friday. I'm going out, and there's stuff that I need to put into my bag. As I said, this is our launch pad. This is where we set up things to go. And I need to add things to my handbag. And here I've got, I'm going into Tivoli today, woo, and I'll try and do some filming. So I've got the car key, and I've got Tivoli cards, and we are renewing our Tivoli cards for this year. Tivoli, if you don't know, is a beautiful park right in the centre of Copenhagen, Tivoli Gardens, and half of it, is a park and the lake, and places where you can hear the orchestra outside. There's pantomime, there are theatres, and the other half is a fun fair. And I love, doing loop-the-loops, and quite often I go in on my own without the kids, just so I can do some loop-the-loops on the huge roller coaster that they've got there, just to blow away the cobwebs. Anyway, I'm going in today on my own, and I'm going to renew our tickets, and I managed to find a really good deal online to get a bit of money off. I can always find a way to get money off. So I've got some vouchers, and I shall renew our cards when I am in there. So that is something that I need to remember to take with me. But then after that, once I've renewed the cards, the great thing about Tivoli now is that they also have an app. So I don't need to take my card with me. If I am in town and feel like doing a loop-the-loop on the roller coaster, I've got my app, and I can pull it up, and I can, just scan in, and then I'm into the gardens. And the cards that we have, they're called wild cards, because I love to be a bit wild, and that means that every time we go into Tivoli, we can use all the roller coasters. It is having one of those passes. It means that every time we go in, we have the pass, and we can use all the roller coasters and all the rides there. And it's quite expensive, but we go to Tivoli a lot. I mean, it's right in the centre of town. They're open for winter right now, then they're open for the Easter season, spring, and then you've got summer, and then they close down for a wee bit and reopen for Halloween, and then they close down a wee bit and then open for the Christmas market and the Christmas stuff. So for us, it makes sense to get the year pass. Anyway, enough talk from me. I have got my bag ready to go. My other handbag ready to go back in the cupboards. I've got my old mat for recycling, some snotty hankies, and some papers to go in my office. And you can hear the birds that are going mad. They can feel spring is on the way. Anyway, I hope you have a fantastic day. I will check in with you actually tomorrow, because I'm going to put together the days that we've done so far, 5-6 days, of the 40-day challenge. So if you're not watching us on Instagram, you'll see that tomorrow. Anyway, that's it for me. Diane in Denmark, live long and prosper. May the hooga be with you, especially today as it's Friday, and I shall see you very soon. Okay, bye for now.